For more now, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, who served with Senator Graham in the Senate for 8 years, they recently worked together on a bill to combat sanctuary city policies. Senator, welcome.
It's good to be with you, and we're all saddened by the loss of Lindsey Graham. He was someone who really believed in robust, respectful, bipartisan debate and in solving problems, and that is one of the things that we were doing with the 287G Enhancement Act, to encourage states to do the right thing, encourage cities and counties to partner up with ICE, and to help with President's goal of deportations for those that are in the country illegally. And he had partnered up with me on the Save America Act on a provision that I have. And Mike, this one would have allowed the states to be incentivized for using the SAVE system at DHS, which is a database that contains the names of those that are in the country legally or illegally but are not citizens. And we did these provisions because it would put it into a budget bill that could go through the reconciliation process. And of course, we did the big, beautiful bill. We did the Reconciliation 2.0, and currently we're working on Reconciliation 3.0. But we are really going to miss Lindsey Graham. He was truly a fearless patriot.
President Trump today said that his loss was definitely a blow to the Save America Act. Is that your feeling? And
Yeah.
What if you named it for Senator Graham? Might that help get some more support?
I would really appreciate the opportunity to have it on the floor and to pass it in his honor. He truly believed in election integrity and the fact that people should be citizens and that they should show an ID when they go to vote. And that is something Tennesseans believe. It's something that 85% of the American public shares that belief.
Yes.
So putting these on the floor and passing them in Lindsey's honor, since he was working with those of us who have co-sponsored and sponsored legislation that makes up these provisions and puts the heft into it, Mike, that would be so appropriate that we would take our time and do that.
You are a member of Senate Judiciary. You have a big hearing starting this week for Todd
Yes.
Blanche to be the next Attorney General. What about the passing of Senator Graham's impact on this confirmation process for the next Attorney General?
And we began working on this before our July 4th state work period, and we will go back to that. That is going to mean that we will have to push through that hearing. I am sure, will end up having the votes to get him out of committee and then also to get him through his confirmation vote on the floor. Todd Blanche has served President Trump well, and I appreciate the diligence that he has shown as the acting Attorney General, and I have no doubt that he is going to honor that continuing work and serve the American people well in the post as Attorney General.
I'm struck because Senator Graham was a fierce competitor, fought hard for what he believed in, but a lot of Democrats are coming out today and remembering a different colleague, somebody that was also very human in dealing with the other side. What about that?
And I saw that. Senator Graham and I campaigned together, for him in South Carolina and for me in Tennessee. And he and I shared that belief that you build a campaign from the bottom up, and you build a Big Ten, and you invite everyone to come and support you. And on the ground with him in South Carolina, people referred to him as Lindsey, not as senator, and they embraced him. And I could just experience that warmth that a room would have for him when I was there in South Carolina. And then when he would be here in Tennessee, the fact that people appreciated how he stood for law and order, the rule of law, how he backed our military, how he believed in a border that was secure, and also his support for the SAVE Act and wanting to find a way to get that across the floor. Like I said, we had those provisions that could work their way into the budget bill because you have to tie that to that appropriations and budgeting process, and incentivizing states to do the right thing was one of those ways we were trying to thread that needle and get this passed.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, I'm grateful to have your perspective on a sad day in American politics. Thank you very much.
Indeed.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.